What is up? Welcome back for another live developer Q&A here at Blizzard Entertainment. My name is Kevin Johnson. We are excited you are back with us again. For those of you in the Twitch chat watching us live, quick note for you, we are not actually broadcasting this live to you today. Unfortunately, we weren't able to make that happen this week, but we will most likely return to our live behavior sometime in the near future or the next episodes. In fact, you might even be able to see some of us in chat interacting with you, so maybe that's a plus. Also, a quick note about today's show, we will not be doing a live show match for you as well. However, we have a ton of content to talk to you about our upcoming patch for Heroes of the Storm. So let's dive right into it. Let me introduce our guests. With us first, to my right, Mr. Matt Cooper, game designer from Team 1. Welcome back.
Yeah, it's great to be back.
Excited to have you in your shorts here.
Yeah, rocking the shorts today.
That's awesome.
It's actually very chilly in here, so
that's right.
Warm outside. But.
Yeah, okay, cool. Well, Matt, as many of you know from the previous show, Matt is heavily involved with balance and talent build out for our heroes in the game. So thanks again for coming back with us. To Matt's right, Mr. Kent Eric Hagman. Welcome,
Hello.
Kim. Your first time
here
on the show with us.
I know. Someone's got to break the ice.
That's right, dude. So Kent has been heavily involved in map design for heroes as well as hero work itself, building and designing heroes. So Kent has a lot of really cool information to share with us today. So welcome aboard.
Good to be here.
And to Kent's right, this is Nick Slough, lead UI artist for Team 1, our first UI individual to
potentially
join us on the show.
last.
Potentially.
Depending if you like it or not.
We'll
Okay.
see. I don't know. Nick's got an incredible beard. I just want to be honest. That
Thank you.
Is just amazing. How long?
Got a little flush.
How long have you been working on that one?
3 weeks.
Yeah. That is rad. Awesome. Well, we got an awesome show for you today, guys. All hinging around our upcoming patch for Heroes of the Storm. As many of you know, we have been in tech alpha for, gosh, I don't even know how long. It's been a month plus, 2 months, something like that. But we have a big patch coming up with a lot of content for you. So we're going to be talking about some of the features and the changes that are coming with that patch. And we're going to just dive right in. First and foremost, new hero edition, Murky. I'm pretty psyched about this, and I know the community is as well. We talked a little bit about Murky at PAX East. I guess that was probably a month ago. But let's talk a little bit more about it. Kent, kick us off, man. Tell us a little bit about this hero, where he came from, and what you guys are thinking about with him.
We've known we wanted to do Murky for a very long time. I mean, he's such a beloved character. We started out initially with some crazier ideas where, we're like, well, he's a Murloc, he's beneath contempt. Maybe towers and minions just don't even target him because, he's just a little Murloc. The tower's like, please, not worth my bullets. And we played around with that for a while. It actually just didn't work. We tried lots of different variations. We just kept hitting our head into a wall. Dustin finally came up with this crazy idea of the Wile E. Coyote Murky. The Murky, who's just this cartoon character that you just, like a little cockroach, you just step on him, but he keeps coming back over and over. And he wears you down through multiple deaths. Like, every 3 or 4 deaths that you kill Murky will probably kill you once. And we started playtesting, we had to do some refinement, iteration, and we finally got him to a pretty good spot. So I'm really excited to see what he's going to do when he gets out there.
That's pretty awesome. I know the community is as well. Well, here we go. We have some footage of Murky.
Oh, there he is. Look how adorable he is. He just...
I like the way he rides his mount the best. One-handed.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. He's just hanging on for dear
I'm
life.
not sure we have mount footage of Murky going on right now. But
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about some of these abilities. What are we seeing here on the screen?
So what you're seeing right there is his pufferfish ability. That's his W. He spits out this little pufferfish. He just goes, yeah. And after a long delay, the pufferfish kind of expands and expands and expands, and then will blow up and do massive damage in the area. Its damage is actually pretty insignificant, but it does quadruple damage against structures. Now, enemy heroes can counterplay it by simply attacking and killing the pufferfish. It has only a few hit points, very similar to like a Doc's treasure chest for those who played on Blackheart's Bay. So it'll fall pretty quickly. It's just it's his way to deal with structures. So if you're Murky, one of the playstyles for Murky is this kind of backdoor Murky. This is that signature ability that really plays out that playstyle. And heroes can counter it by simply taking a few seconds to attack the pufferfish and kill it. But it's just one more annoyance that Murky's doing. Even though you're killing him over and over again, he's going to leave these pufferfishes everywhere.
Sure.
What we're looking at right there is the safety bubble where he goes bloop, and just kind of goes up in his little bubble. And, during that time, he's actually invulnerable and intargetable. It gives him a lot more survivability, especially. It's a very powerful ability for him. He can just kind of keep moving, and if he thinks he's about to die, he can pop it. And especially if you eat up your enemy's cooldowns and they waste them on you right as you bubble, that's a great boon for your team. You've just eaten some strong spells, and they did nothing to you. And absolutely plays up the other style of Murky, which is kind of the hero, the team fighting, the hero killing Murky. He's not really good at it, but this really, length gives him lots of legs in those team fights. His other core ability is his slime, where he'll just, he just squirts out the slime all around him, and it puts a stinky dot on his enemies, and it slows them by 25% over 8 seconds. So it lasts quite a while. In fact, anytime you'll kill Murky, you're like, all right, I killed him, but now I've got the slime on me, and Murky is he's going to res in 5 seconds. He's going to be back. He might even come back to you, and you still have his slime from his previous life. There we can see the ability in action, and it has a dot component to it, which will wear you down, and really, keys into this really obnoxious Murloc. And then his two heroic abilities are March of the Murlocs and Octograb. Now, March of the Murlocs, he calls forth all the aid of his little Murloc village, and they all come in streaming in one by one, and they'll pounce on the first enemy they encounter, and just start gnawing at them, slowing them down, and doing damage. And if a bunch of Murlocs start to jump on you, every Murloc slows you down increasingly, and adds more damage, and it's just a great massive area control spell for Murky. His second heroic ability is Octograb, and that one, he summons forth this octopus, which traps you in place for 3 seconds, and Murky's finally got you where he wants you, and here comes the wrath, and he's going to hit you with this tiny little fish that does 1 damage. Now at level 20, you get to upgrade it, and he pulls out, and he gets a shark too, and he actually does some real significant damage. One of the better talents that I think Cooper here has had the pleasure of designing. And this really kind of plays up more of the team fight Murky, who's going to lock a hero in place. Oftentimes, just holding them in place long enough for your slime to continue to tick on them, or an allied hero to come in and really finish the job.
That's awesome. He sounds like a really interesting, funny hero. I really love it. Have you guys played a little bit of Murky?
Oh yeah, we've been playtesting a lot internally.
How do you play him? What's your style?
I kind of lean a little bit more towards like the backdoor Murky, the guy who's behind your towns. He's throwing the pufferfish in. You have to deal with them, and I spec his talents kind of around that.
That's pretty cool. What about you, Nick?
Same way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like playing Murky that way.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm more of the team fighty Murky. I don't know if it's just what's in my blood or whatnot, but I love to just watch people die for my little tiny Murloc buck teeth, and just like, ah! And then they kill me, but they don't get much satisfaction from my death.
Gotcha. Well, great. I can't wait to see what the community thinks of this hero. Obviously, send us your feedback, guys. We're looking forward to it. Really excited to get the hero in your hands and hear what you think. All right, well, let's talk a little bit about your stuff here, Matt. Talk to us a little bit about the talent changes that are coming in this upcoming patch. I know there are massive changes across the board, but maybe we can focus in on just a couple heroes. Here's some of the broader changes you're making on some of these specifically.
Yeah, so I mean, with the talent system, we're going to continue, updating, adding more talents, and of course, we have a lot of great stats from our business intelligence team. So we can look at talents that are kind of underpicked, or maybe they have a low win percentage, at the high MMRs or whatever, and we can tune those up. So that's been really great. So a couple of heroes I'll kind of focus on here. We'll start with Murden. He doesn't really have a lot of major talent changes, but across his whole kit, we did actually quite a bit. We lowered the mana cost of his Stormbolt and his Thunderclap abilities. We noticed Murden kind of had he's a little bit below 50% win percentage, so we wanted to, tune him up a little bit. We noticed he was constantly out of mana, so we wanted to make a couple changes there. And he's got quite a few new Thunderclap talents. There's one available at level 1 that on top of lowering your enemy's movement speed, you're also lowering their attack speed. So it's great at dueling people. And later on, you can make an A/B choice between a Thunderclap talent that heals you for every target you hit. So I think it's a 1% heal per target. So if you can hit a whole creep wave, maybe a hero, you get a pretty significant chunk of your life back. And then the kind of the opposite one to that is if you hit one target, you're going to do triple damage. So it's not normally how you use Thunderclap, like in a one-on-one situation, but if you can get people into that situation where like dueling a hero and stuff, it's actually really significant. We've of course made quite a few changes. We've removed a couple amplified healing Innos gone on him, and we slotted some of the talents a little bit earlier, a little later to play up some of those builds. Stitch is another hero. We really want to play up his ability, his slam ability. Like originally when we designed his talents, we wanted to make that kind of one of his core play styles. Like he could use slam a lot, and we kind of failed there. There was a couple radius increases and stuff, but it just doesn't do a lot of damage. So his I think he's got it's called Pulverize. It's a later tier talent that stuns anyone hit by the slam, and we had to kind of tune that down. So I think it's only a half second stun. which is not honestly that that great. But we can't really tune that up further because it's so disruptive in team fights. So we actually, I think that talent now does 50% more damage as well as the stun. So you can kind of see where that's going to be more useful. There's a new slam talent that applies your trait to anyone hit by it, so you can really poke with on people and stuff like that. And then we have a couple new fun talents for Stitches. So we have, I think it's Friend Helper or
no.
Helping Hand.
Helping Hand. That's it. Yeah.
I don't know. You can upgrade your hook, so now you can start grabbing allies with your hook.
Oh, that's
so you can grab an allied hero, try and save your healer or whoever. There's Shish Kebab, which lets you hit 2 targets of your hook. So it could be 2 enemies if you have the previous talent. Could be 2 allies, could be 1 of each.
Wow, I can't wait to see double hook.
Oh yeah. And another fun talent we added was there's a talent for his Devour. So every time he devours an enemy hero, he actually gains permanent health regen for the rest of the game. So it's kind of one of those we really love those quest talents that you can see wow, if I can do this 20, 30 times, whatever it is, oh, this is gonna be so powerful. I'm gonna get 50 health a second or whatever. That's insane. But we've kind of we've tuned it around that, and they're really awesome.
Sounds like a lot of potential for the community to really dig in and find some unique strategies with these changes. Pretty awesome.
And Sergeant Hammer is the last hero I'll talk about.
Cool.
So we actually swapped her siege mode and her mine ability. So her siege mode was originally on Q, and we had some problems with a lot of our newer players, and even a lot of our more experienced players. It's my Q button, so I have to I should hit this all the time, and you hit this in the lane in a bad spot, put a big target on your head. And yeah, so we moving that to E we found really actually helped. So now your mines is kind of your core ability. The balance and stuff didn't really change, but it's more, I guess, the play style of how you want to play that hero. We have a lot of new talents for her. Quite a few focused around the siege mode. So there's an early talent is while you're in siege mode, CCs go away quicker. So if you get stunned or slowed, it's not going to last as long on you while you're in siege mode. So that's really useful since you've kind of set yourself up to be hit by these abilities. Graduating range is a more later tier talent, and basically the longer you're sieged up, the bigger your range grows. It grows to something insane like +5 range, which normally she's got maybe 10 or 11 range in siege mode. So really lets you outrange the enemy. And if you have something like hover siege mode comboed with that, well, now you're moving around with this gigantic range. Quite a few other talents, but a little fun one I like is we added a talent that your mines now do a knockback.
Oh,
so
cool.
You maybe make a massive minefield and someone runs into the bushes, and all of a sudden 8 mines go at them, and they just get knocked back like half the screen. And of course it helps her keep away playstyle and stuff like that. And there's a lot of other talents, but we don't really have time to go into all of them.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's almost all the heroes are getting touched to some degree, right? Or
Yeah,
most
I
of
would
them.
say at least half the heroes have some changes. And our plan, is to any of the heroes we couldn't hit with this release, hopefully in next release we can hit the rest of the heroes and
Pretty awesome.
and keep tuning up talents where we need to.
Very cool. We'll definitely check out the full patch notes when you see them, guys, for all the details around those talent changes. But let's talk about another area of the game that's going to be changing significantly with this upcoming patch, and that is the user interface itself. Nick, talk to us a little bit about the user interface. Actually, it's so cool to have you on. Like I said before, I don't think we've had a chance to really hear from the UI design side of this game yet, at least in the course of this show. We'd love to hear a little bit about how you guys think and how you've been approaching the game in general. I know your team is also heavily responsible for the work that we did on StarCraft 2. How did you guys go from that game to where you currently stand on Heroes, and even more specifically, the new changes you're making from the current version of the technical alpha to the one that's coming in this patch? We'd love to hear your guys' thought process.
Yeah, so with StarCraft 2, we came in and we basically did right by StarCraft 2. There's a strong legacy with that game. We came in, we polished it up, we made it a little bit more advanced from StarCraft 1, and we put in the features that were added for StarCraft 2. With Heroes of the Storm, it was a real opportunity for us to start from the ground up. So one of our philosophies, much like a car company would rebuild a car from every piece from the ground up, we kind of wanted to come into this patch specifically, look at everything and go, is this right by this game? We're making this very particular game that is specific to Blizzard. Is the UI really kind of echoing that? And we looked at it and said, actually, there's a lot of areas that are not. So as you guys have been seeing throughout the cast already, we've done major overhaul to every aspect of the UI. Pretty much every spot of it was touched.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. In fact, let's talk about some of the more specific areas and some of your thoughts around that. One in particular that, if you're playing the game, you've experienced this, and that's how you choose or select your talents while in a game. I noticed that has taken a big shift in direction in terms of this new patch. Talk to us a little bit about your thought process around talent selection and the choices you guys made.
Yeah, so the talent selector before, obviously, your talents would come out in a drawer and you'd select them. And the talent system used to be much more stat-driven, a little easier to understand. As we added complexity and made the talent system a little more robust and a little more individual for each hero, those tooltips and those descriptions actually became a little longer, and we actually added more talents as well, even ones you're going to unlock. So we had to come up with a different solution that wasn't a drawer that came out because we had people misclicking the talents or just we couldn't fit them. So we decided to actually, first thing is we need to warn the people when a talent is coming, and now you actually select your portrait, pop open your talent window. You've got a nice big window to select your talents. You can choose them and you can go. Also, for people who have already learned their hero a little bit more, we have we're calling it like the quick talent menu. Basically, it's a control modifier. Hit control button, little menu will pop up. You're right in the heat of battle. If you know exactly what you want to pick for your hero, click it and go.
Awesome. Another area that is pretty standout when you're looking at, like for instance, we're looking at the UI here, you can notice that the minimap has changed significantly on the right from what it had been before. Talk to us a little bit about your thoughts around the minimap changes and what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, so we're trying something a little different here. We want to maximize the amount of space you have for your minimap. One way we actually found to do that was to remove the outside bordering around the minimap. And actually, the only way we could get transparency around it too was actually to remove the outside of the minimap as well. So now we have a couple of advantages. One, we have the minimap bigger, easier to see kind of what's going on in the battle. Another thing that's nice about that is you can actually see action that's coming from the bottom right hand of the screen, which is something that when you've got a big square taking up the bottom eighth of your screen, it's really difficult to do. So so far we've been playing it and liking it so far.
That's awesome. And like you said, the whole UI has really kind of been overhauled and looked at and touched. And I've noticed a lot of almost quality of life changes that we've seen. In fact, one in particular that stands out for me is this sort of like hero rings beneath the feet or the location of your heroes. Talk to us a little bit of that feature, where it came from, and what you guys are looking to accomplish with that change.
So much like Diablo 3 console, you've got the rings underneath the feet. We thought this was a real easy way to take advantage of being able to see when people are coming from the top of the screen in battle. You could see kind of what team they were on, if it was your teammate or enemy team. Another way it helps us is to be able to differentiate you from your allies and from your enemies.
Yeah.
So it's just anyone who's played console games where they've got these rings underneath the feet should be pretty familiar with it.
Sure, just a little more awareness of your location in context to other players. It's pretty great. Very cool. How about you guys? What are you guys liking the most about the UI changes so far? I know you've been playtesting on internal builds. What are you enjoying?
Yeah, for me, honestly, the hero rings, like being able to find my hero, immediately in combat, it's really useful. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I'm actually really loving the mini map. We play test what they were trying out. They'd put it in for us. We'd go play it at work. It'd be cool. We'd give them feedback. They'd keep tweaking it, and then I'd go home and be like, oh, that's right. Ooh, I didn't realize how bad that mini map was until I didn't realize how good it could be.
Right.
So
That's
I gotta
great.
say I love it.
Very cool. Well, very much looking forward to the community getting their hands on it, giving us feedback as well. All right, very cool. Well, we have a few more things we can talk about. I know another hero that's getting massive changes. It has been Illidan. In fact, we talked about this a little bit in our promo leading up to this particular show, that some of these heroes, our heroes, would be getting big overhauls, and Illidan is one of them. Can you talk to us about the changes you've made to his abilities and how he plays in general?
Yeah, so we it's actually a few months ago. It was a while ago. We looked at Illidan and realized, we didn't quite hit the mark that we thought we should be hitting with him, and we wanted to take a stab at redesigning him. We were looking at future melee assassins that are coming down the pipe, and we looked at Illidan, we were looking at Zeratul, and we wanted to figure out how could we push them all apart from each other. We really wanted to keep Zeratul as playing up that real bursty assassin from the shadows type of playstyle. Whereas with Illidan, I'll be straight up honest, is after watching The Hobbit, the most recent one, you're watching Legolas jump around on that river scene. I saw that and I was like, that's where I want to take Illidan. I really want to push him there. I want him in the thick of combat, jumping from enemy to enemy. And from there, we started working on a couple different designs until we landed on the one that we have that's going out there. It's a little bit more straightforward of design than what we had before. The previous design was a little complicated. There we can see some footage of him. We really want to play up him jumping around from enemies to enemies. So we gave him a very low cooldown target unit dive ability that just dives him on an enemy unit, and then one of the things we really wanted to keep was some of the flavor of the old Illidan who could chase you down and especially flip over enemies. So we put the flip baseline on the Q ability, and in fact, We're going weapons free here. You can use this dive ability on abilities like you'll see right here. He uses it on a building. He's on the gate and he can flip over it. Gets himself a little bit of trouble, but he doesn't get able to get out. But his trait is that his auto attacks are going to reduce his cooldowns by a second, and they also lifesteal a lot. So he sustains himself in combat very well, and lowering his cooldowns rapidly by getting attacks off allows him to be very flippy, all over the battlefield. I'm really looking forward to see when he gets out there what players are able to do with him. And kudos to those of you on Reddit who were able to figure out why haven't they done any talents for him.
Sure.
Cooper and I talked about doing talents for Illidan, and we always kept saying, wait till the redesign's done, wait till the redesign's done. So we kind of put in some placeholder stuff. We didn't want to, just put something out that we knew we were going to take out right away. So Illidan's also coming with a fresh new batch of talents that Cooper's has been working on.
Yeah, awesome. Very cool. And I know there's more heroes as well that you've made some significant changes
Arthas
to.
and Tyrael were both two heroes we felt like we kind of were failing on the fantasy of, and we really wanted to play up. And so one of our other designers, John Hodgson, took a look at Tyrael, and we looked at his shield and how it could be affecting his allies better, and we tweaked that up a lot. And then his E ability we completely overhauled and gave a new ability. So make sure you check out the patch notes for that. Arthas, we also felt like was failing on the fantasy of he wasn't really the Lich King. He was something, but we really wanted to embrace the Death Knight. So we put Death Coil in there. We moved around his Frost Strike to his new trait. So give that a whirl. We think he feels pretty mighty now, in our opinion. But those are two other heroes that received pretty significant updates as well.
Awesome, great. And like we're saying, there's tons of more changes, including map changes, all this stuff, right? I think Haunted.
Oh yeah, actually we did a
Mines.
huge overhaul of the top level of Haunted Mines. We saw some bad gameplay that, as far as we were concerned, in terms of lack of strategy, it wasn't a lack of strategy. There were a couple of strategies, but we wanted to really spice it up some more. We really wanted to change the way the top lane and the bottom lane were playing from each other. So we did some significant changes to the layout there, and we added some watchtowers. So check that out. We also were looking at Cursed Hollow. We thought it was definitely way too snowbally, so we started playtesting with what if we didn't do the 50% health reduction on buildings. That seemed to be pretty good, so we're pushing that out, and as always, we're gonna be keeping an eye on all of these things and making tweaks as necessary.
Great, so much stuff, guys. Definitely keep an eye on the patch notes. Take a quick look at all the changes. We hope you really enjoy this update. We're gonna take some questions. We put out a request for questions on social media last week and over the weekend. We did receive some of your questions, so we're going to turn to those now and answer a few of those. Let's take our first one. Let's see. This one here from Dibby, Heroes QA. How have you felt the talent system has been working out so far? What about talents that are just plain better, worse than others? Who wants this one?
I get it.
You got it.
Yeah, so I mean, we're looking at the stats, we're looking at talents that are not, super highly picked and stuff like that. So we're, of course, we're making changes. We want all the talents to be viable. I think some talents are going to always be a little bit more situational than others, especially ones that are like based off of you heal a minion or something like that. But we want those to all be possible picks at some point. So I mean, we're working on it.
Yeah, very cool. Awesome. Let's grab a few more. This next one here is from, looks like Brendan Beckett. Any concerns about lack of individual achievement? Example, no KDA score, takes fun away, especially from solo queue experience. We've definitely received a lot of feedback along these lines. Who wants to take a shot at this one? Nick?
I can probably take this
Okay,
one.
cool.
So something we're working on actually right now currently is showing individual kills and individual kill streaks much better than we currently are. Right now, I'd say we're doing very minimal amount of that, and we know it. This is something we're addressing. Some of the things that we have that we're working on a personal kill streak meter that levels up as you get more kill streaks. We're also working on this one system we're calling the bounty system. Someone gets 3 kills on someone, bounty goes out on their head, and the rest of the team has to hunt that person down. I think this is something that is really going to help promote top level play.
That's really cool. I love the idea of the bounty system. It's very interesting. All right, let's grab a few more here. Let's see, just waiting for, okay, here we go. This one from Kevin Pearson, serious question. Will balance patches help continually provide a more than one playstyle for heroes? Provide a more than one? I think just provide more than one playstyle for heroes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Sure.
I mean, we've got a couple guys who work on balance. That's basically what they do. So we're looking at heroes who are underrepresented, of course talents, and we're making a lot of tweaks. I think you'll see a lot of tweaks in this patch, and of course going forward, this is something we're going to continue to do. So.
Yeah, really cool. All right, let's dive back in. Sorry for the pauses here. We're just waiting on the Twitter here to show up. Here is QA. What will be the maximum amount of talents for each tier that you're targeting for? We've some heroes with 5. Will there be more?
So I'll answer from the creative, design side.
Perspective.
We think about 4 to 5 is kind of a good sweet spot right now.
Sure.
For heroes, internally we're testing 5 or even 6, and I can totally see us going. We're still in technical alpha. Who knows a year from now or whatever.
Right.
From the UI side,
Not too many
It
talents.
works for Sammy. Why can't it work for me?
He wants 7, I think.
More the merry.
Exactly. All right. Well, cool. Well, we're looking forward to being on that journey, seeing how these talents evolve. Let's grab some more. This one here from Prepare for Combat. Will there be support for clans in the game? Talk to us a little bit about social systems, Nick. I know that's something your team has been thinking about, working on, and got plans around.
Will there be clan support? Yes.
We're
We're absolutely working on clans. We are absolutely, and not only clans, but really well integrated in partying and social systems. Actually, in this current patch, we have a party feature that's going in where you can easily party with people and get the party and friend bonus. And so just like that, many more social systems going in. Clans, yes.
Is one of them. Okay. Very cool. Definitely looking forward to that as well. All right. Let's see what else. This one here, JP Marcotte. Queuing feels like it pits lots of randoms versus pre-mades and is bad about team comp, no support, etc. Any fixes coming?
Yeah, so our online guys, they've made some changes. The way we, put pugs together into a group, we've got some kind of filters going in where we won't put, 5 melee people on the same team, so we feel like that's not necessarily the best experience, where we won't put 5 supports on the same team. And then kind of the other part of that question is, the 5-man pre-mades against the 5 solo. That's kind of more of a population issue. Like, we don't have a ton of players in the technical alpha right now, so whenever we can, we try and match up 5-man pre-made with another 5-man pre-made. But it doesn't always happen. So
Sure.
That'll hopefully that will get better as we get more people into the
We
technical
also
alpha.
have full social systems coming in that will help people party up and get together in groups and play with other people. So that's actually a really great way to play this game, is playing with friends and other people.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's take a few more here. This one, Ben Andrews. Yes, is Abatha receiving love next patch? Abby needs a little love.
Yeah, why are you so mean, Cooper? Come on.
So I always get the patches mixed up. Like, what's going in this patch? What we worked on now? I think so. For Abatha, I think there's some minor symbiote stuff that's going in. His spike and his shield, I think, are a little worse from like levels 1 to 3, and then they get better after that. So he's actually, some small buffs there. I don't think he has a lot of talent changes going into this patch, but that's something we're going to work on also. And,
Okay, cool. I know you guys are looking at that stuff across the board all along, but
They gave
all
him
right.
pajamas.
Yeah,
What do you
pajamas.
want?
Yeah.
best skin in the
What else
world.
could you
I mean,
Fair enough. Okay, let's grab another one. This one, Jacob Turner. Future plans on adding an ally ulti health indicator in screen corner. Hard to coordinate with solo queue fights without some sort of it. That English, though.
That English.
No, we love you, Jacob. Thank you for sending the question in. What do you guys think?
Is this more you, Kent, or?
Yeah, I thought this was a UI question.
Yeah, he's looking for.
We've
So
talked
an ult
about adding
indicator,
party frames.
yeah.
We first want to just make sure we get healing working as good as we can.
Sure.
That's really kind of also falls on UI, like how much screen real estate are we going to take up for all this kind of stuff?
Party frames are known. Party frames work to a certain extent. Everything that we're doing for the UI in the game, we're trying to figure out a solution that works better without being clever.
Sure.
And so that falls definitely under one of those. If there's a need for party frames, we will put party frames in. We aren't going to take it out or keep it out of the game because we need it in the game. But if we need it, or if we come up with a better solution for it, which we haven't even tried to experiment with yet,
Sure.
we'll probably have something like that in the future.
Okay, cool. Awesome. This one here, Evan. Blizz Heroes, are there plans to add a view talents option to the queue screen while you wait to find a game? I know we've talked a little bit about being able to choose talents out of game. Of course, we can choose them in game. Who wants to talk a little bit about this one?
I think this is a UI.
Yeah,
Back to you, Nick.
we've talked about it. We definitely want to make sure that the choices that and the things that you're selecting and looking at on the hero selection screen are important choices that you're making going into the match. I think this is something where if we feel we need to put something like being able to see talents, if this is an integral part of being able to queue up with friends, we'll add it. Yeah. I think we're still looking at that kind of stuff and analyzing it and seeing if it's appropriate for the game.
Right, sure. Okay. Fair enough. Let's do this one here from Dalran. Will there be StarCraft theme maps or just fantasy theme maps? You want this one, Ken?
Sure. No, Dalaran, never. No. We just don't like
Don't
the,
do
you know,
that.
we're
It's my
team one,
StarCraft.
we're the StarCraft team, we don't like StarCraft. No, totally, we will be addressing this eventually in the future. We're working on new maps right now. We got some good guys that are working on stuff right now, and we're going to explore future battlegrounds, where we can go, and the different areas we can explore. I can definitely assure you at some point in the future we will be visiting Core Hall or Char or wherever else Legacy of the Void takes us.
That's awesome. Cool. Legacy of the Void shout out.
Whoa.
All right, this one from Katie. I think that's Katie. It looks like Katie. Any chance a detailed in-game summary will be implemented with things like damage done and healing done? I guess we're talking about stats here from games.
Yeah, actually, I know that in a upcoming patch, we are looking at just exposing more of these stats even in-game. So I'm pretty sure we're also at some point in time going to revamp the whole end of game flow. I know your team's
The
working
in-game
on
stuff
that.
is actually coming next patch.
Oh, there we
in-game
go.
stuff like
You've
that.
heard it here
Yeah,
first.
so we're gonna do that stuff, and end of the game stuff. What we have in there right now is a very little. I wouldn't even call it a slice of what we have. We have a lot of plans for what we want the end of the game stat screen to look
Cool.
like.
Awesome. Tech Alpha, y'all. We're making improvements. All right. This one here from Mr. Richard Koo, missing tooltip. What happened to the handsome dev in the glasses? I found him absolutely dreamy.
So I think I can take this one.
Okay, do that.
I don't ever recall a guy in glasses being, absolutely dream. Nick, very good-looking guy. I don't see glasses. I mean, I think I'm. No glasses
that's right,
there.
no glasses.
Maybe he's referring to my sunglasses.
Oh,
I
yeah.
must be. Well, here I am.
Yeah. So here's the good-looking guy with glasses.
Those not in on the joke, Mr. Richard Koo is actually on the game design team. He's been on this show in the past. He's obviously just trying to find
So
some
wasn't
praise for
rehearsed
himself.
either.
Yeah.
We would have done it better.
All right, comedy's not our strong point. It's all right. We don't get paid for it. We make games. Okay, guys, I think that's about it for us today. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for being a part of this with us every week, especially those of you in the Twitch chat watching us live. We really look forward to bringing this kind of content to you on a regular basis. And as always, stay tuned and be on the lookout for information about this upcoming patch. It is coming very soon. I know we say that a lot, but it is definitely on your doorstep very, very, very soon. You can follow all of our updates, all of our news over at heroesofthestorm.com, our website, or on our social channels. Everything is /BlizzHeroes, pretty much all over the place. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, /BlizzHeroes. You can find us there. I think that is all I got for you today. So on behalf of Nick Slough, Kent Eric Hagman, Matt Cooper, Kevin Johnson, we are here at Blizzard Entertainment, and we thank you for joining us. We will see you next time.